Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to WeaselAcres. Let's do some shooting, shall we? Hello again, everyone. Today we're going to be talking about the U.S. rifle, caliber 30, model of 1917. This is actually a very interesting rifle, and it's often overlooked in discussions of U.S. martial arms because it was introduced between two American favorites, the .03 Springfield and the M1 Garand. The U.S. entered World War I with only about 600,000 .03 Springfields in service, then being made by the Springfield Armory and the Rock Island Arsenal. Fortunately, at the same time, three U.S. commercial manufacturers, Remington, Eddystone, and Winchester, were wrapping up production of the Pattern 14 or P14 Enfield under contract for Great Britain. It was much easier for these commercial manufacturers to make some modifications to the British design rather than retooling to produce the .03 Springfield. Sometimes this rifle is referred to as the American Enfield. So this rifle was manufactured by Winchester in November of 1918 and originally had a Winchester barrel dated March of 1919, which was badly worn when I got it. It was keyholing at about 25 yards. The original barrel was a 26-inch, 5-groove, 1-in-10 left twist barrel. You'll find some refurbished rifles that have been through the arsenal with 4 and sometimes even 2 groove barrels. The rear folding leaf sight is adjustable for elevation only, not windage. Rifles were zeroed by drifting the front sight. The rear leaf sight is graduated to 1,600 yards. Effective range is about 550 yards, and the maximum range for M2 ball is about 3,500 yards. As with other rifles firing this cartridge, accuracy is 2 to 3 MOA. It's popular as a sporting rifle, and untold copies were converted to that use. Remington continued production as the Model 30 from 1921 to 1940 for the commercial market. This rifle is still in use by some armies. I had this rifle rebarreled by the CMP Custom Shop in 2017. The new barrel from the CMP was manufactured by Criterion. The CMP Custom Shop did an outstanding job and used my custom chamber specifications, which are slightly tighter than the SAMI spec. They even replaced some small miscellaneous parts at no charge. There are a couple of things I'd like to talk about before we get started with the shooting. And the first is lubrication of the bolt on this gun. I use a product, it's called TW25B. It's something I've used on my match rifles for years, so I can recommend it. It's really the only commercially made specifically for guns lubrication product that I use. Frankly, I use regular grease on this gun, just as long as it's not so thick that it doesn't operate smoothly. And when I need oil, I use Mobil One synthetic. A quart will last you a lifetime. So if it slides, grease it. If it turns, oil it. Let me pop the bolt out of this, and we'll take a look at the points that need to be greased on this. So here's the bolt, and as you can see, it's pretty dry because I haven't fired this gun in quite some time. The points that need attention are really anywhere that you see a wear pattern. I like to hit those. Definitely these lugs need some oil. And I just like to put a nice coat all along this. So hitting the lugs, get those. And then just a line where you see a wear pattern. Doesn't take a whole lot, fortunately, because this stuff is kind of pricey. But rub it in, and you get the idea. There's no real secret to this. Just get a nice coat on there, and try and cut down on the parts just wearing against each other. And with that, I think we're about finished. There you go. The other thing that I wanted to talk a little bit about is eye protection. Those of you who have watched some of the other videos that I've made have noticed that I don't wear eye protection when I'm shooting these rifles with iron sights. I think that that's a holdover from all of the years that I spent shooting through optics, where I wanted the image to be as clear and undistorted as possible. However, that, you know, doesn't really hold true when shooting iron sights, and I really should be setting a better example by wearing some sort of eye protection. So I bought a pair of, these are Oakley clear shooting glasses. They weren't exactly cheap. They were about $100, but I hoped that by spending a little bit more, I would get something that is a little more optically clear, and I wasn't going to get any distortion looking through the little aperture on the rifle. So far, I'm actually kind of impressed. I mean, they're just plastic, but the image that you get through the lenses is very clean, very clear, very crisp. So hopefully they'll work well, and we'll see how they do. Okay, so here I am at about 100 yards, and I've got 6 rounds of M2 ball. This is head stamped Lake City, made in 1969. The stuff I was shooting in the 03 Springfield video was Greek surplus, and it was actually pretty accurate. The rifle has a 6-round internal magazine, so I've got 6 rounds here, and I'm going to load those up and see how I do. Okay, that's all 6. Let's head down to the target, see how I did. Okay, so here we are down at the target, and I can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bullet impacts. This is about 2.5 inches, and with, you know, surplus ammo, I guess I'm okay with that. So that's it for this week. Thanks for watching, and thank you for reading the gun thread. See you next week.